Welcome back to Talk Horror to Me, the only horror movie review podcast that loves to have all our films X-rated. Before we bring on Carly, Ashley, and Brooke, let's see what we're looking at tonight. Tonight we review TIWEST X. X is a 2022 American slasher film written, directed, produced, and edited by TIWEST. It stars Mia Goth in dual roles, a young woman named Maxine and an elderly woman named Pearl. The film also stars Jenna Ortega, Martin Henderson, Brittany Snow, Owen Campbell, Ure and Scott Mescudi appearing in supporting roles. In X, set in 1973, a group of actors sets out to make an adult film in rural Texas under the nose of the reclusive host. But when the elderly couple catches their young guest in the act, the cast finds themselves in a desperate fight for their lives. Welcome. Hey, ladies.
Hello.
Hey.
Ashley's like, 1 minute as I take a sip of tea. So I already know who picked this film. This was mine. I love X. But I don't want to hear what I thought of the film. I want to hear what Carly thought.
I tell you, like I was saying backstage, it lived up to its name. And you know what? I did not look at the credits. So I was like, that girl looks so much like Brittany Snow. Well, I wonder why.
Nailed it.
Literally. But yeah, it was, the cinematography was so 70s, and you know, the side by side and the flashback, like from one scene to another. It was very 70s. It very much felt in that vibe, and talk about a vibe. Tell you what, I mean, you had gore from pretty much the beginning. Did you guys notice the name of the company on the van? Plowed Enterprises.
Plowing service.
Yes. I thought that was very funny, actually. But you know, you get to like where they're just passing, where there's an accident where my dog went crazy because there were cows on the scene. I thought that was a little
great.
bit like, I was like, oh, you know, did not need to see that. But you know, the rest of it, okay.
Okay.
Fine.
All right, we'll get back to you. So, how about you, Brooke?
Okay.
I liked it, but I'm convinced, Chuck, you like seeing tits a lot because this is the second film that you picked with tits.
Hey,
So
I am
like
not
you
there
did.
for the DNA.
But I love this film. I'm a huge fan of Mia Goth. I love her acting. I've always been a fan of her. So yeah, Mia Goth owned the movie to me.
Okay, so wait, let me understand this. You have a girl crush on Mia Goth, and you're asking me about my TNA. Okay, just want to make sure, but we're out here. Okay. How about you, Ashley, as you sip your tea to get the perfect?
This movie, I remember watching it not when it first came out. I didn't watch it until maybe a couple months ago was the first time that I've seen this film. I did not rewatch it. This is not a movie that I like started it and then I was like, no, I can't go through it a second time. And I don't say that to say that it's a bad film. This is definitely you need to watch it, but it'll stick with you. You'll remember it. It's not an easily forgettable film. It pushes boundaries, but not as heavily as like House of a Thousand Corpses kind of pushes boundaries. But there is boundary push. This is definitely the first edition House on the Left, Last House on the Left, merged with House of a Thousand Corpses, in my opinion. But the comedy, like the script writing of this film, is hilarious. Like whoever the writers were of the dialogue did such an amazing job because it drove the whole movie. Yeah, you have the gore and you have all these other factors, but if it wasn't for the dialogue hitting just where it needed to hit, this wouldn't have been as good as a film as it is. That's my thoughts.
All right.
What
I'm
about
going to
you,
say,
Chuck?
well, hey, apparently, according to Brooke, I like the TNA. And hey, I'm all about that. But let's say there was equal opportunity for both males and females to get some full frontal. So let's not just make it sexist.
That's true. There was a lot of...
That was true.
There was
Right
a
in
lot
front
of
of the
everybody
door?
getting a little something. Old, young, man, woman. Everybody was getting a little action in there. I will say on second watching, again, I watched this film when it came out on streaming, then watched Pearl, then just watched this again. And as I was telling Carly backstage, what I love about this film, one, it looks like it came straight out of a film reel from 1979. It shot that much, the vibe, the cinematography, just the DP of it, the tonal quality of it. Everything looked like straight out of the late 70s, which I loved. To me, it had an whole bunch of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where at the beginning we have that square shot where all the cars are coming up and then it widens out. And it was always wide. It just panned in to get through the doorway. And just to see that, like the carnage aftermath, which I thought was amazing, which again echoes the carnage aftermath at the very beginning from Texas Chainsaw. And then conversely, I love the fact that the protagonists, the kids, the youngins making the film are not necessarily all that lovable or people to root for. And yet, conversely, I have a lot more sympathy and empathy for the old couple, even from the first time I watched it and then after watching the prequel. Is that there's a lot more depth in the film of that old couple than just like some crazy old lady killing people. It's deeper than that. It's very much like Psycho, where Anthony Perkins is the killer, but yet we see a lot of it through his eyes, and we have empathy for him as a person, not just a killer. So I got a lot of that vibe here as well, where it's like, yeah, the old man and the old lady are kind of creepy and kind of gross, and then they're going at it, and you're like, "What the hell's going on? What are my eyeballs looking at?" But I think there's a lot of depth to the film that I think that we kind of miss a lot in horror film. Like it's always about the one person who gets all the depth, and everybody else is just kind of peripheral. Or I think we got a little bit of depth from everybody, good and bad. And I think that really sets the stage for this film being just top notch.
I love that the
Carly,
depth.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I love that the depth that we did get, though, is not the depth that most people will anticipate. And I feel like the kink side of the family is like, thank you, we have representation.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, and I did do some research after the fact that, like, because one of the things that really was unsettling to me, the triple cut, when they went between scenes and they kept like doing a triple flash before they went to the scene. Every time it happened, it unsettled the crap out of me. Other than and it wasn't anything like, oh, we went to like a gross scene that they kept flashing before they went to it, but it was still very unsettling, that cut, that like triple cut. And I loved it, but it was just like every time it happened, it was like just got to me for some reason. And that's just the amazingness of editing to have that happen.
I feel like, is that not a tribute to how film operated in that time?
The 70s, yeah.
That's kind of how I
not
took
that,
it.
Not that specific cut. There's a lot of jump cuts and like kind of like you get the white flash, but this was like a triple white flash. So I mean, it could be an homage to like a bad edit cut, but it was just so deliberate, timed that it just unsettled my brain for a second, and I didn't know what to expect. And it's like you're not used to it. You're used to the slide edits, the side by side edits, but you're not typically, or like the blowout edit, but not typically a triple flash edit with white in between. So that was just like, wow.
You're like,
I loved it. Oh, what's happening?
It was fantastic in its own weird, creeped out way, but it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. So,
Yeah.
Kudos.
And the clues were there.
Yes,
the
they
clues were
Yeah.
there.
Like I guessed the last twist right at the beginning of the movie, and I'm not going to give it away, but I did.
I'm proud.
Carly's
I don't
just that
remember.
good. Carly's a well, she had to remind me. I'm like, what? What's the second twist? Yes, there's a twist of like we find out more about somebody through passive means, and it was pretty cool. I will say what I did love about the film also was the preacher on the TV.
Yeah,
Because he was almost like he wasn't just a preacher on the TV as like background. He actually was almost integral to the plot in like kind of like telling you what the how people were feeling at that time, culturally and sexually, and like the deviancy of things. And we got to get back to a traditional America. So I love the fact that his narrative, both in I think it was in the gas station, he was on TV. And in the house, he was on TV. I love how he was actually carrying a narrative a little bit too, without it being hit us on the head with it. So I love that.
Yeah.
But enough about that. Let's talk more about the grossness, because that's our favorite stuff. And who do I want to start with? Ashley, do you have a favorite gory moment?
There's a lot of really, really good moments to choose from, but my favorite kill to choose from is I don't think it's the first, but it could be. But in front of the truck, the first time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In front of the truck the first time. I love that because there's a moment where the person gets stabbed repetitively, and as we're seeing the blood splatter, it's like an entire change of the film.
Yes.
Like it's red tint. It's very, I don't know, the whole thing that they did with that was beautiful in a very disturbing way.
Yes. I had that written down for myself as like it's headlight driven. No, that's okay. Headlight driven, splatter red, and all of a sudden the entire scene goes red cast.
Yeah,
brilliantly done. It's so in the moment. It wasn't just like, oh, let's add this as trick photography or like, to like be something different. Like they made it part of the film. And I think it worked so amazingly to have her cast a red headlights the way she was. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Carly.
Yes.
Carly, we know you like murder and things. What was your favorite gruesome moment?
Favorite gruesome moment? I crush your head.
Yes, damn it. That was not my second one.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Man.
I'm sure luckily there's plenty to choose from, so no loss there. Miss Brooke, what would you say gruesomely?
Mine was Ashley's too, but
my second, it's so good.
My second was the alligator part, where Brittany Snow got the alligator part. That was really good. Really
now,
good.
here's what I say: the only part of this film that I have an issue with was how above the water that alligator was. The gator was when a certain Maxine is swimming, and then you see the high tension moment of them both going toward the dock. Oh, first of all, that overhead shot was freaking terrifying. I loved it. But the fact that like I don't think gators like sit that high in the water, so I was a little irritated about like how much of it was shown. I think it could have been lower, but that's just me. So I'm, you guys are taking all the good ones, but I will say I did love the barn scene, start to finish. Like if you go from Wayne going into the barn, getting tetanus, as we all know he did, and then but he didn't have to worry about tetanus shots because soon thereafter he gets an eyeful. So I'm okay with that. I think they're all amazing. I mean, but there's still more. There's still more people. Do not get us wrong. These are not just the highlights. There are way more going on in this film.
Yeah.
Just now, what did you guys think about the practical effects? Because it was mostly practical effects of these kills, other than I think the alligator spinning
the
and
practical
churning.
effect of the face practically blown off. That was fantastic.
Oh my God, yes. Ooh, I saw it before, and I still got like jump scared when a certain somebody was running, and that happened to them. Oh my God.
Yes.
There was a lot of like, you knew it was going to happen. When it would zone in on one character, you're like, okay, you know it's coming, but damn, they got you every time.
Yeah, every time. Which I think is just testament to how well it was shot, edited, scripted, that like every time we are like, you know, we're all hands at this. We know it's like, oh, something's going to happen. And even though we know it's coming, like it was done in such a way I hadn't been used to seeing that it just blew my mind. Even a certain old lady with a shotgun, I totally forgot what happens after that. And it still blew my mind that it happened the way it happened. And it's like, oh man, this is fantastic. But let's talk about the old lady. Let's talk about the old lady, because this poor old lady, she just wanted to be a star, just like Mia Goth.
Oui, Marie.
Yes, oui, Marie. That's the only French I learned when I was in the trenches. It's saying. But Brooke, what did you think? Go ahead.
She had her demon, if you will. Like I hated the old lady.
You did?
I
felt sorry for her.
Nope. I felt sorry for her husband. I felt so, because he was like protecting her. He really was. Like, he was trying to protect her. He was trying to protect everybody else from her. And like this was
also cater to her.
Yeah.
I mean, he was also getting people like to satisfy her needs that he couldn't take care of anymore. So he was again, you have to see the prequel, the sequel prequel, because it is all about them as a couple. And you really get even a deeper sense of the commitment and the love story, quote unquote, that they have. Which again, it's just, this film was shot back to back with Pearl. So TIWEST shot this back to back with Mia Goth, so that all of it could be done at once. And Maxine was done later, which is the third in the trilogy. But yeah, he already had this story mapped out so beautifully, which I think lends to how well this film is and how much empathy and sympathy you can have for those characters, because he built that into like what you saw of those characters.
So I haven't seen Pearl.
I haven't either.
Oh, you gotta see Pearl.
Yeah, if everyone's on Team Grandma and they've seen Pearl, like I hate the grandma, and I'm just like, I feel so bad for this old man, because like when it goes to the Bible scripture, it's really preaching the whole like no divorce type situation. So it paints the picture that he's stuck with her, and like he feels like he can't divorce her because the reasons for divorce wouldn't be enough to, in his mind, justify divorce.
But in that moment, if you also look at the bunkhouse sex scene, where he's like, "Oh, you know, I can't do it. My heart." You know, so there's that too. That like he may be stuck, but he is completely in love. Yeah, so it's very strange. It's very much. I don't know if you all saw Hotel Hell with Eddie Albert from Green Acres, and is very much again that kind of idea of like the villain is somehow portrayed as kind of very sympathetic and heroic in a certain way. Eddie Albert does not come out looking good in that film at all at the end, but you know, even I think more so Psycho is a more of an apt, like he's sympathetic. He loves his mother. He wants to protect her in the hotel at all costs. So like, you know, there's a altruistic reason why it just went all wrong in so many ways. So, but now kids, you know what now is? Now it's time to rate this film. And I was asked backstage and given $20 in a favor to be answered for at my time of my choosing. So Carly What
Yes.
do you give this film out of 5?
I give it a solid 4.25. You know, I don't like blondes.
That's cute. I like
Poor
that.
Brittany Snow. Poor Brittany Snow.
Aw.
She's
But I
becoming like a
I'm-
new age queen of horror, I feel like. Brittany Snow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
new-
she's
yeah, like her resurgence is like scream queening.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that for her. How about you, Brooke? You got a big smile on your face. What did you rate?
I'm gonna give it a 5. Hold on, I wrote it down. 5. I'm nothing like you. I'm gonna be a star.
Right. Wait, are you
Famous
talking
last
about this
words.
film or Ashley?
Oh, both.
Be a star.
Okay.
Be a star,
Makes sense.
baby.
Makes sense. Be a star. Well, see, Ashley, you know, you always could take that drink when I'm going to ask you what you think of the film.
I need the
So how
coffee
do you rate
today
this film?
for sure. I am giving this a 4.5 because I'm Aftermath. I wouldn't rewatch this film, but for what it is, like I cannot knock it at all. Everyone should give it a chance, but 4.5, come on, Grandma.
Come on, Grandma. And hey, I'm gonna. You know what? I love this film so much on so many levels. Again, if the only thing I could say is that the special effects for the alligator were not to my liking, if that's the only thing I have to say about this, I'm still giving this a 5. I'm giving this a full 5. And the 5 I'm gonna get it is like, what's a Marine? Always a Marine. So Howard deserves some love. The
sound
poor
just like
man
him.
gave his heart for this film, and I hope to see him soon.
Aw.
Yes.
So again, I have not run into a film in a long time that is purely slasher, you know, kind of this vibe, bloody slasher gore film that really has this much heart to it. And if you like pick apart and we do a dissertation on this, Jenna Ortega's character, what she's going through, like kind of coming in from this naivete to like this sexual revolution of the late 70s, early 80s. You got the boyfriend still steeped in tradition of like, no, you can't do that. You're my girlfriend. What? And then like everybody was like, oh, we're gonna race this to the home box office, and make this film and make millions because it's cinema. So yeah, I loved it. I loved it like so many angles, even the cow in front of the Kentworth truck.
Yes.
I thought they did an amazing job.
They
even as a
did. They
stand-in.
did an amazing job. It was just,
yeah.
I mean, even the guy shoveling. I'm sorry, Brooke. What were you gonna say?
Demon.
Oh, I have to say, for Kid Cudi, for his first film, he did a good job. He did a really good job. Y'all know who Kid Cudi is? No, you don't know.
You're gonna tell us because we might know, but the audience doesn't know.
He's a rapper, singer.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a black guy. The only black guy in the film.
Oh, okay. And he did a really good job.
He did.
I think
That's
they
his first
all acting wise really got into their parts. Literally.
Yeah, you said they were over the top.
They were in their own way, and it needed it for this movie. It was called for.
I think they had really good chemistry, and that's like what really made it work, especially when everyone started like bickering with each other and it was starting to get real intense. Like,
And it sounded
the chemistry.
real.
Yeah, it felt so real. I was ready to choose
Yeah,
sides.
like you
you know what I
said.
mean?
Like you said, I think it's over all points, right? It was over the top, but not so over the top that it was just grotesquely just comical. It was just people being people. So I didn't really see it. I didn't see any of the characterizations from Wayne to Maxine. They all kind of like were very like driven in their character lane.
Yeah.
The guy wanted to make a movie, make a lot of money. Maxine wants to be a star. It just everything was driving very specifically. And I don't think everybody was a caricature. I think they were very much honest with what the core of the character was. So I think that really helps it along. Even the sheriff at the start, at the end, even his silly line, it was like, "Hey, sheriff, we found this camera. What do you think on it?" You know, it's like even his line doesn't sound terrible. It doesn't sound goofy. It just fits perfectly.
Yeah, imagine their surprise when they watched it.
Well, I mean, they won't see anything that's going to solve the murder, but you know, but at least they'll get what they like to see, I guess. They still got to like take that to get developed. You know how long it's going to take to get that film developed? I mean, that's a big camera.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But hey, I had my time. I had my pick. So we need to know what's next. Who's picking next? Harley.
Me. And I chose The Cabin in the Woods because I actually I've seen it and I really enjoyed it. I was in a Chris Hemsworth phase at the time. And I want to see if it holds up. And it's on Hulu.
Interesting.
I love
Hulu.
Cabin in
Okay.
the Woods.
I did too. It was one of those turn everything on its ear kind of thing of like all the cabin in the woods motifs and tropes. So I do like how it all like becomes something completely different. And let's not lie, Carly. You're still in a Chris Hemsworth phase.
Yeah, because like saying like, do we leave the phase? Like,
no, we don't.
Okay,
yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, good.
She's like, hey, I might not have been
scared
great. I know, right? She's like, well, listen, I wasn't that big about Men in Black International, but still, I was in the phase.
I have not seen Men in Black International.
And nor have I.
Get
Is it good? Okay.
both of you. I'm done. I'm done. I know this is a Talk Horror to Me podcast, but there's scary aliens in that.
That's true.
Speaking of, we've
never
done the Aliens movies either.
Yeah.
Or Predator.
Oh, but I'm starting. If not to give it away, but in a couple weeks when it's my turn again, I'm definitely going alien horror. One of the first and most prestigious of the alien horror films of the modern era. So, and no, it's not Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Donald Sutherland, although I do that too. But yeah, there's a nice film by John Carpenter that I'm very excited for. So, can't wait for my turn. But it's not about me; it's about Carly and the fact that we're going to watch Chris Hemsworth be hulky and awesome, yes. and hopefully there's other things that happen besides him, but we'll keep an eye out.
Oh yeah, keep an eye out.
Okay. So let's see, we got like 3 minutes. So I don't have much else to say. I think I said everything I wanted to say without giving everything away. Again, I was super excited for X, knowing it came from the theaters and wait for streaming. Again, salivating to find Pearl. I believe Brooke was one to share the Maxine coming out July 25th this summer for the third of the trilogy. And I just can't wait to put that all together. So again, for any fans of his work or this first film, I think watching the trilogy or watching the second film and being anticipatory of the third, you're going to love it as much as Carly did. So.
It lived up to its name. It did. Yes.
And I did warn people. And let it be known. Last week I warned people there's going to be some nudity and to be okay with that.
Oh, now we know that's just your thing.
No, that's just what Brooke thinks my thing is. I like good horror. I don't care how many boobs are in it.
And this
actually, for Brooke's sake, I should have given it 5 boobs.
It had some good horror in
it. Yeah, this had a little bit of everything. Slasher, like
a little camp.
For a moment, I thought it was going to give a paranormal twist, like kind of, you know which movie I'm talking about?
Yep,
kind of thought they were going to go there.
Oh, Lord.
What was that? Then I was kind of rooting for both of them. You know, I was like, well, let's go. Pick the blonde.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't like blondes.
No, she doesn't like blondes.
Mm-mm.
And that lady's like, I don't want her either. I was like, we don't need her anymore. I love the fact it was like they were all just cattle. It was like, in a way, it's like, no, that's not the one I want. I'm not going to settle for second best. And I think that's all very indicative of like what Pearl wants. And a husband knows, like, I know you don't want this,
I've
but I'm keeping this for you just in case.
Where's it on?
That's so good.
Pearl. Where
I want to
is
say
it?
it's Paramount Plus, but it might be premium. So I did not denote it. But yeah, take a look. It's on several channels, but some are like the premium subscriptions versus regular ones. So keep an eye out.
Oh, right. I think that one was like Showtime or something.
Yeah, it's on Showtime.
Yeah. It was on Amazon.
Well, I can wait.
Yeah, it's okay. You can wait. It'll be okay. Because we have Hemsworth to look forward to. So let's make sure we focus. And with that, love to my all y'all.
Love
you all. Thank you.
I can't do that, bro.
You're like, what is that a circle?
Brooke's so good. Like,
that's good.
Perfect.
Brooke's got the best one.
That is good.
Brooke's like, I've been practicing in front of the mirror.
Now I'm gonna start. That's what I just want to be able to flash it like real quick and be like adorable.
Yeah, not make it like look. It's like me. That looks like this is like an oval. What are you doing?
I don't want to do that. I done saw the video and now I can't unsee it.
Oh my God, I don't have no more words other than love. So with that, ladies, thank you so much. I'll see you next week. So bye to y'all. Bye, bye, bye. And with that, thank you for joining us for another Sunday night. Thank you so much. We love to be here for you. And don't forget, every week we are here to scare you later.